devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Hare Hare Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 2, chapter 7, and we are covering today verse number 12. So the verse is on the screen. I'm going to recite from my book. Matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya tatra vijahāra veda-mārgān matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya vijahāra veda-mārgān matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya vijahāra veda-mārgān. Anybody would like to recite the verse?
Hare Krishna. Madhavi, if you don't mind, I don't know that I can do what you've done with the tune that you. Can I change slightly?
Yes, Babuji. Whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay. Matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya tatra vijahāra veda-mārgān. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya tatra vijahāra veda-mārgān. Hare Krishna.
Matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya tatra vijahāra veda-mārgān. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Matsyo yugānta-samaye manunopalabdhaḥ kṣoṇīmayo nikhila-jīva-nikāya-ketaḥ visraṁsitān uru-bhaye salile mukhān ādāya tatra vijahāra veda-mārgān. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for beautifully reciting this verse. Synonyms: Matsaha, incarnation of the fish; Yuganta, at the end of the millennium; Samaye, at the time of; Manuna, the would-be Vaivasvata Manu; Upalabdhaḥ, seen; kṣoṇīmayo, up to the earthly planets; Nikhila, all, Jiva, living entities, Nikāya-ketaḥ, shelter for, visraṁsitān, emanating from, uru, great, bhaye, out of fear, salile, in the water, mukhān, from the mouth, me, mine, ādāya, have been taken to, tatra, there, vijahāra, enjoyed, ha, certainly, veda-mārgān, all the Vedas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At the end of the millennium, the would-be Vaivasvata Manu of the name Satyavrata would see that the Lord in the fish incarnation is the shelter of all kinds of living entities, up to those in the earthly planets. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of millennium, the Vedas come out of my Brahma's mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Purport: during one day of Brahmā, there are 14 Manus, and at the end of each Manu, there is devastation up to earthly planets. And the vast water is fearful even to Brahmā. So in the beginning of the would-be Vaivasvata Manu, such devastation would be seen by him. There would be many other incidents also, such as the killing of the famous Shankasura. This foretelling is by the past experience of Brahmaji, who knew that in that fearful, devastating scene, the Vedas would come out of his mouth. But the Lord, in his fish incarnation, not only would save all living entities, namely the demigods, animals, men, and great sages, but would also save the Vedas. At the end of the millennium, the would-be Vaivasvata Manu of the name Satyavrata would see that the Lord in the fish incarnation is the shelter of all kinds of living entities, up to those in the earthly planets. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of millennium, the Vedas come out of my Brahma's mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupha Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pachyatya Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhupayevacha Patita Nama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for giving this wonderful opportunity to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran is the essence of all the Vedic literature. And as we know that Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran gives us the conceptual knowledge as well as the practical knowledge to achieve our prayojan or the ultimate goal of our life, by making us understand about the identity of this Jiva Atma and also the relation of this living entity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which we call Sambandha Jnanam. And with after this Sambandha Jnanam, not only that, Srimad Bhagavatam is also giving us Abhidheya, or the process through which we can attain our ultimate goal, which is Bhakti Marg. And finally is the Prayojan is ultimately is clearly explained in the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because we are related to him, so what is the way to achieve him? So Jiva Goswami in his 6 Sandarbhas very systematically establish the truth about the tattvas which Srimad Bhagavatam has given to us. He's starting with the Tattva Sandarbha, where he perfectly established that Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate Purana, and after Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no need to go anywhere else. And Srimad Bhagavatam is celebrated as the topmost Bhakti Shastra, or the scripture which gives the information about the devotional path of devotional service. We can see that even the starting chapters of Canto 2 talks about the all kind of yogas like Ashtanga yogas and meditating on impersonal Brahman. But at the end, the conclusion which Shukadeva Goswami is giving is that only by worshipping the personal form of the Supreme Absolute Truth, that Paratattvam or that Akhande, undivisible truth, one absolute truth, which we call Akhande Tattva, which can never be divided. That Supreme Absolute Truth, which can be realized in 3 features, Brahman, Paramatman, and Bhagwan, can only be distinguished according to the vision of the practitioner. Incomplete vision can realize a practitioner, or can take the practitioner up to the impersonal Brahman, and more or substantial vision can give the practitioner the realization of the Paramatma feature. And this Paramatma feature again comes under the Savishesha Brahman, or we can say the Supreme Absolute Truth with attributes, with qualities. But this Paramatma feature is also just one of the plenary portion of our absolute primeval truth, Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead, who is a person and who is playing in Vrindavan as a small cowherd boy. That Lord Shri Krishna, who is the absolute truth and who is the source, shelter, maintainer, and sustainer of all the universes, of all the planets in spiritual world and in the material world. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not giving some dharma or some kind of religious duty which is going to make our next birth into the upper planetary system, where we can enjoy for a little bit and then come back again in earthly planets. It's giving us the permanent solution and the ultimate solution through which we can reach our ultimate goal and can get free from this vicious circle of material birth and death again and again, in which we are circling as a Jivatma, or a living entity. So time and time again and again, our acharyas have given commentaries and also we are getting the association of senior Vaishnavas. So after getting this beautiful human form of life, which human form of life allows us to substantiate and to rationalize the higher intelligence. This human form of life is infused with higher intelligence so that we can rationalize what is good for us and what is not good for us. So even after getting this rare opportunity out of 8.4 billion species of life, if we are just spending this lifestyle just to satisfy my senses, anyways, the senses are being satisfied by the lower species also. They are also eating, mating, defending, doing everything. The only thing is the difference of religion. But again, on the name of religion, if I am just doing my pious karmas or good activities just to gain the opulences of the upper planetary system, then we have to think one more time that what is the goal? Is the goal is just to remain in this universe, in this Brahmanda, or the goal is to cross this? What's the goal? We at our workplaces, we establish short-term goals and long-term goals. Especially in the interviews, I don't know if it comes here, but I have given such kind of interviews in India and here also. So short-term goal and long-term goals, they are there to determine what is the thought process of the person, what he's thinking, where he wants to reach. So similarly, in our spiritual life, we have to establish short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals may be that I'm going to start reading a page of Srimad Bhagavatam every day if I'm not doing it. Or today I'm going to chant my rounds with sincerity, maybe not 16 rounds, so maybe 8 rounds. So these are short-term goals, and the long-term goal is ultimately given in Srimad Bhagavatam and other bhakti scriptures in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying, Sarva dharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam brajam. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashami nashucha. And manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So Sri Krishna, he is giving our long-term goal by himself. And when we accept the orders of the Lord, instructions of the Lord as it is, then we can see that it's all auspiciousness, shubhada. That means all auspiciousness come onto the all auspiciousness come onto this living entity. And when this happens, when we accept the orders of the Lord and accept the orders of the Lord through the Guru or through a representative of the Supreme Lord or spiritual through the instructions of spiritual master, and when we start doing bhakti on the power of scriptural injunctions, on the power of scriptural injunction with utmost faith, then we see that all kind of sinful reactions, they start getting burned up. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, we have seen that there are 4 stages of this papa or sinful reactions, which are called aprabdha, aprarabdha, kutam, bijam, papam, and prarabdha. So if we start doing our sadhana bhakti with utmost faith, then all these reactions start getting burned up. Anyways, so this is the importance and mahatmya of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now getting into today's chapter, which is chapter 7th, scheduled incarnations. So we have seen that the 12 cantos of Bhagavatam have been very wonderfully divided as limbs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And first 2 cantos represent the lotus feet of the Lord. So basically, we can see that first 2 chapters are forming the foundation for the rest of the, first 2 cantos form the foundation for the rest of the cantos, which are coming in Srimad Bhagavatam. And second canto starts with the discussion of Grahamedi and just to refresh our own memory. So start with the discussion of Grahamedi and Gharastha, and then Shukadev Goswami explained about different yogas, about the Virata Rupa. And in 4th chapter, we have seen that Parikshit Maharaj asked questions from Shukadev Goswami, mainly about the creation. So taking the questions from there, Shukadev Goswami in chapter 5th, taking Narada Brahma Samvad or conversation between Narada and Brahma, Shukadev Goswami started replying to the answers of Parikshit Maharaj. Narada asked questions, 6 questions from Brahmaji. And in reply to that, Brahmaji explained his position to Narada and also have given answers about the Karana Srishti. Karana Srishti is what? Karana Srishti is the coming up of 23 elements, Karana Srishti, and then Karya Srishti. That means assembly of 23 elements. We have all read this so far. 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. All the process of creation has been given. How Kṣoṇīmayo Vishnu glance on the material nature, and through material nature, through the process of creation, the universes come into picture. That process is elaborately explained in chapter 6th, 7th. So I'm not going to explain on that because we have already done that. So till now, Brahmaji has explained the Purusha avatars of the Lord, the first 3 Purusha avatars who directly deal with the Maya potency, who directly deal with the Maya potency or the 3 modes of material nature. As I have explained in my class here on this forum, I remember about the Paramatma feature that all these 3 modes of material nature is also the energy of Paramatma, and is not different, but at the same time it is different too. So when the transformation is happening, it's not the transformation of the Paramatma feature or the Kṣoṇīmayo Vishnu, but the transformation of his energies are happening, through which this material universe, there are millions of material universes, but this is one of the Brahmān, and we have taken one of this Brahmān as a sample to study the further creation through Garbhodakṣayi Vishnu and how Lord Brahma came. Now, in this chapter, various incarnations of the Lord has been described, but in very brief, very brief. Now, why all the incarnations starting from Varadev, and then we discussed about son of Ruchi and Akruti Sayujana, and then the Tatra Muni, 4 Kumaras, Narayan Rishi, Prishni Garbha, Prithu Maharaj, Rishabdev. So we just, and Hayagriva, we have all these avatars or incarnation have been described in very brief. Why is it so? Why there is not so much elaboration in this chapter? The reason is that because all these avatars, what we are reading right now and what we are going to study in our further classes for this particular chapter, they have been described in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam later on. So this is just kind of trailer, which Brahmaji has put together for the audience to hear. So it's just like a trailer. So it's like movie is just coming. The trailer is just little bit. So in this particular verse, Brahmaji is talking about Matsya Avatara or incarnation of the Supreme Lord as fish. So we can see that the Supreme Lord appear not only in the human society, but also in lower species also. But so we all have by heart, the avatars, Vara avatar, Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, all the Narsimha avatar, Rama, Balarama, Krishna, all these Dasha avatar. But Gauriya Vaishnava philosophy talks a little deeper about the philosophy or the tattva about the incarnations. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has explained to Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami, I'm just forgetting, I think to Sanatana Goswami, and it is also been given in Lagu Bhagavat Amrit also, that the Supreme Lord, he manifests himself into 3 ways, or the 3 forms, and these 3 forms are Swayam Rupa, which is his essential form. Second is Tad Ekatma Rupa, and third is Avashesha Rupa. So it's also given is in Lagu Bhagavat Amrit, where in Lagu Bhagavat Amrit, there is description of almost all the incarnation. All the incarnations, this Lagu Bhagavat Amrit is talking about, from where they are coming, what is their tattva. So it's a wonderful compilation. So, so Krishna, Swayam Rupa is his own form, and with this form, Krishna is maintaining himself in the Goloka Vrindavan. He is a cowherd boy, and this form, Swayam Rupa, also have 2 broad divisions, which we call Prakasha and Prakasha Rupa and Vaibhava Rupa, Prabhava and Vaibhava. So not to confuse about too much information, so I am going to stick with this Swayam Rupa, Tad Ekatma Rupa and Avashesha Rupa. Because anyways, this Matsya avatar is not under Swayam Rupa, which is the essential form of the Lord. So Swayam Rupa is his own Rupa, that Krishna, who been described to have 64 qualities. Nobody else has 64 qualities. Maybe at the most Narayana and other Narayana and other expansions have 60 qualities, but not the 4 unique qualities which Krishna possesses. And then the other form is Tad Ekatma Rupa. Now this Tad Ekatma Rupa, these are the forms which are not different from the Supreme Lord, from the Swayam Rupa, but it appears to be different because of the different body shapes and activities. Like we can say Balaramji. He is the same personality as Krishna, but he looks different because his activities are different, his shape of the body is, or his color of the body is different, his activities are different, but he possesses the same potency as the Supreme Lord or the Swayam Rupa. Now this Tad Ekatma Rupa has 2 forms or 2 classification. One is Vilasa and other is Swamsa. Vilasa and Swamsa. Now this Vilasa form is equivalent to Tad Ekatma Rupa, almost the Tad Ekatma, but slightly lesser in qualities, is slightly lesser in qualities. But this Swayamsa is again not different from Tad Ekatma Rupa, but it is even less than the Vilasa form. So till now we have discussed Krishna has Swayam Rupa, which is his own form. It has divisions, but we are not discussing. So the second is Tad Ekatma Rupa, which is same as Swayam Rupa, but has 2 broad classification as Vilasa and Swayamsa. So Vilasa form is almost like Tad Ekatma Rupa, but slightly less in qualities. And it manifests different pastimes. And Swamsa, which is again a part of Tad Ekatma Rupa, is also Tad Ekatma Rupa, the Swamsa form is also appear. It is similar to the Vilasa form, but even manifest fewer potencies or powers that Vilasa form. And today, what incarnation we are reading, Matsya incarnation, it is the Swamsa incarnation of the Supreme Lord. In the spiritual world, in this Matsya avatar is there, eternally it's there. Yes, it manifests its pastime in the earthly planet whenever the time is there. And we are going to discuss the story very soon. So, but this Matsya incarnation comes, Matsya incarnation in the spiritual world is a part or is a Swamsa form of Tad Ekatma Rupa. I hope I tried my best to explain. And the last is Avashesha forms, but these Avashesha are empowered incarnation where Krishna is just sending his particular potency mainly in jivas, in living entities, and empowering them with his own potency. So examples like Prithu Maharaj, Rishabh Dev, and Sheshanag, they come under the examples of Avashesha form. So this Swamsa form or Matsya Avatara, we have discussed the tattva or the identity of this Matsya form or the Matsya Avatara. And this form, as I said, is eternal in there. And if anybody wants to read about it, about the incarnations more, so it's also given in Madhya Lila. Chapter I have to just see, but it's given where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself is explaining all these incarnations to Sanatana Goswami, I guess. I'm just forgetting one of the two. So this Matsya avatar has elaborately explained in chapter 24th of chapter 24th, canto 8th of Srimad Bhagavatam. Matsya avatar. Now, before going into Matsya avatar, I would like to clarify here that whatever avatar or the incarnation, so there is difference between expansion and incarnation. The expansion is what coming from the plenary portions or coming from the Krishnas, amshas of Krishna, and expansions are basically the kalas or the portions of the amshas. I'm sorry to confuse, but it's like amsha or expansion is coming from the Lord and is in the spiritual world. And incarnation, which are descending, they are coming in the material world. So Matsya avatar is considered to be one of the incarnations also in the material world because it manifests its pastime in the earthly planets. So whenever the Lord Vishnu Tattva incarnates itself, that doesn't mean that he is assuming or he is taking the help of elements of material nature. He is always remain intact in his own transcendental personality. Because all the forms of Vishnu is Vishuddha Sattvam, or above the modes of material nature, which never can get contaminated or touched or affected by the modes of material nature. So whenever an incarnation happens, so incarnation might look like a human form or a fish form or a boar form, but it never get affected by any kind of material contamination or material nature cannot touch it. So Mayavadi philosophers or impersonalists, they use the form of the Lord to worship and consider that form as the manifestation of material elements. And here they make a big mistake or big offense onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the form of the Lord can never be material. It is always transcendental. And Jiva Goswami in Bhagavad Sandarbha is explaining by giving the references of Canto 10, chapter 87, the prayers of personified Vedas or Shrutis, where Shrutis are explaining the truth about the Supreme Lord and praying to the Lord, the Paramatma feature of the Lord. Jiva Goswami is explaining very nicely the concept of Paramatma or the Lord. When he comes, he never, takes the material form. Yes, he has hand, legs, but it's very different. It's not material senses. He has having senses, but not material senses. All these senses are coming from his own swarupa. From his own swarupa. It's not different from him. So it's the time. Now it's the time for story. All philosophy is explained. Now it's the time of beautiful story where we can connect ourselves more. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as I explained, by his Swa-amsa form of Tadekatma Rupa, he expand himself in the form of a fish incarnation. And the story, as I said, is given in Canto 8, chapter 24th. And there are several reasons we know has been given why Lord incarnate in order to protect his devotees and also to maintain the religious principles. So these are some of the external reasons which Krishna has given in Bhagavad Gita, but he also have few internal reasons which we are obviously not discussing today. But so once at the end of the kalpa, one kalpa, a demon by the name Hayagriva, he wanted to take all the Vedic knowledge away from Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma, he was trying to sleep, when Lord Brahma felt sleepy. So there are different kinds of annihilations. And those kinds of annihilation has been given in Canto 12. So every day of Brahma, the annihilation is happening at the night of Brahma. But also, in a day of Brahma, as given in the purport, there are 14 Manu. And even after one Manu, there is an annihilation. So even within a day of Brahma, the annihilation is happening. So annihilation is happening within a day of Brahma, right? So it has been explained in the purport that after one Manu also annihilation happened, and this annihilation happened just from the Patala Loka up till earthly planets, right? So the fire emanates from the head of Sheshanag and burn all the planets from Patala Loka to earthly planets. So upper planetary system at the end of a Manu remain intact. But when Brahma sleeps at his night time, at that time, even the Swarga Loka, from Patala Loka till Swarga Loka, everything gets annihilated. And the gross bodies of living entities get annihilated. And at the night of Brahma, it goes in the lotus. But the upper planetary system, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, and Satyaloka, they remain intact. So after one Manu, this happened at the end of Swayambhuva Manu, when Brahmaji, through Brahmaji's mouth, Vedas were coming when Brahmaji was yawning, and at that time Hayagriva, a demon, he wanted to just steal all the Vedas, and he stole Vedas too. So Lord, at that time, at the end of Swayambhuva Manu's time, he appeared himself in the form of a fish incarnation, Matsya avatar, and he saved all the Vedas. And again, so this was the first Manu, but first Manvantar. And then again in the reign of Chakshusha Manu, sixth Manvantar, there was a king by the name Satyavrata. And this Satyavrata, he was such a great pious king. And because he was a very, very great pious king, so Lord appeared as a fish incarnation only to start another manvantara, which is the 7th manvantara. So this king, he was such a austere king, and he was performing his austerities one day on the bank of a river, and the name of the river has also been given Kritmala. And he was praying and offering his oblations of water. And when he was taking the water from the river and putting it back, so once he took the water from the river, a small fish came into his hand. He found a small fish, and this small fish appealed to the king that king, please help me, because, and don't throw me again in the water, because I don't find myself safe here, because other big aquatics are here and they are going to devour me for their dinner. So please take me with you and protect me. So this king, Satyavrata, he came to his kingdom, and he gave shelter to the fish, and this fish, he put it in a water jug. And after a few minutes, this fish just took the form of a jug. And then and again, he tried to put the fish into a well, but again, the fish expanded herself so much that, the fish again started to complain that this is too small for me. Now the king put the fish in the lake. Same thing happened. And now finally, the king put this fish in the sea, in the ocean. I'm sure that all of us must be aware about the story, because, this story we teach in Sunday schools too, to our kids. So, fish takes the form of the entire ocean. And then Satyavrata thought that this is really not a fish. This fish is something else. And he prayed to the fish that please reveal me your identity. And then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he appeared in front of Satyavrata, and he told him that, within few days, within a period of week, there is a change of Manu, and from Patalaloka up till the earthly planets, everything is going to submerged in the water of devastation. So I suggest you just take few saints, herbs, seeds, and other living entities in a boat with you, and I am going to come there in this form, in this fish form, and at that time you just tie your fish tie your boat with my horn, with the fish horn, and I'm going to protect you all. And that's what happened. After a week, the waters of the waters of devastation started soaking everything, submerging everything up. And then this king Satyavrata, he took everything and he followed the order of the Supreme Lord, and he saw the fish. And he at that time, when king saw a boat was coming, the king saw that the boat was coming near to him, and this king, along with the Brahmanas and saintly persons, offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he boarded the boat. And then he thought and then he saw the big giant fish, and he just tied his boat with a rope, with the horn of the fish. And at that time, while the Brahmaji is resting, and the fish is taking the boat into the waters of devastation, at that time, Lord was not just sitting there. Fish incarnation of the Lord, Matsya avatar, was giving the knowledge of Vedas, scriptural knowledge, the knowledge about himself into the hearts of these saints and King Satyavrata. So this Satyavrata took birth as Shraddha Deva in the next Manvantar, from the sun god Vaivasvata and became Vaivasvata Manu. And so Lord, he educated the king or gave knowledge to the king about himself, about all the Vedas from his heart to Satyavrata at that time. So this is a wonderful description which we can find in detail in Canto 8, chapter 24th. And if we are interested, we can go and see. And Prabhupada has given so many nice purports in there and explaining that each and every incarnation of the Lord shows various kinds of lessons and various kinds of reasons for him to appear. So I was reading in Canto 11th, the Lord appear in front of the devotee in 5 forms. One is when Krishna appear himself in Swayam Rupa, and also the another form is when Krishna appear himself in a Vyuha form or Chatur Vyuha, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Pradyumna or Aniruddha. And the third is when Krishna appear himself as the pastime incarnation, and the pastime incarnation is Matsya. One of the pastime incarnation is Matsya incarnation. So all the pastimes, all the pastime incarnations which are coming in the material world, the source of those is considered to be the Shuddha Vishnu, which is the third Vishnu in the 3 Purusha avatars. And the fourth is super soul, when the Supreme Lord realized the devotee in the Paramatma feature as Antaryami feature in the heart, super soul. And the fifth is the form which we can see in our temples. So Supreme Lord is there in the form of deity. So these are the 5 forms in which a devotee can see or take darshan of the Supreme Lord. So I think that's very important for all of us to know, that maybe we cannot see the Matsya form of the Lord right away, but we are seeing deities in our temple, which is not the representative. It's Krishna himself in the temple, standing there. And when we go and pay obeisances, we should feel or we should train our mind to think in a way. You know what is mind? The mind is the transformation of the qualities. With these, mind just transform everything what we are seeing. The mechanism is that. So when we see the beautiful form of the deity, we should consider ourselves very, very blessed that we are looking at Krishna in our front in front of our eyes. So that much faith and that much respect we should be having for our scriptures, our shastras. And with this, I'm going to stop. Thank you so much again for giving me this wonderful opportunity again for speaking on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran. 1 hour every day, 10 hours, 50 hours, our whole lifetime is less, is nothing to glorify the Lord. The glories of Bhagavatam is immense. Thank you so much.
Thank you very Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This is a wonderful lecture, and as usual, when you come on, you give quite a bit of details about the lecture, which actually is very, very helpful also. One of the things, you can mute yourself if you want to ask questions. I'd like to start off just one thing for clarity, that you were talking about the expansion and the incarnation, and you specified, just wanted to be sure that when we say the Lord incarnates, that incarnation comes to the material world. Is that correct? Is that okay? I wanted to be sure about that.
Incarnation means when he descends. Expansions are in the spiritual world. Incarnation is in the material world. Usually, I have seen that many times we use expansion and incarnation interchangeably.
Yes.
So that's very verified by our acharyas.
Yeah.
They are different.
Also, Hayagriva, that's also so he's an incarnation of the Lord.
So Hayagriva, He was a demon. Also, Krishna, Supreme, again, Hayagriva is one of the names of the incarnation of the Lord too, which we just read before.
Yes.
So
Hayagriva is one name of the Supreme Lord, but there's also Hayagriva that stole the Vedas.
Yes.
So there are two different Hayagrivas then.
One is Lord and one is Devana.
Okay, all right. So
one
that
is
also
Devana
wants to be clear.
Hayagriva and one is Lord Incarnation Hayagriva.
Yeah.
So
okay.
He takes the form. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So, dear devotees, if you have other questions, if you have other takeaways, realizations you want to share, please unmute yourself and join in the Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna. Anyone? Anybody wants to join in the conversation? You're wonderful if you can. All right. Well, then we're just on the top of the hour anyway. So thank you very much, Madhavi, for coming on. And it was so exciting. I get to hear more details about the Shastra when you come on to explain.
You are so knowledgeable, Prabhu.
I'm not. People think I am, but I'm always learning. I'm always ready to learn.
You educate us in platforms also. So we are very, very grateful to you, Prabhu, for your services without looking at your health and any material combinations in your life. You just go and preach. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your services.
All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Yeah. So thank you very much, devotees, for coming on today, and have a nice, wonderful, wonderful Krishna conscious day. And of course, we're heading towards weekend too. So have a wonderful Krishna conscious weekend. Thank you, Madhavi.
Thank you,
Mataji. Vancha kapatarubhascha kripa sumibhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.